Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have for today, Aries, is the Eight of Pentacles. Now this is minor arcana. Pentacles is the earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And it is like a near mastery, right? If you see the picture, there is this person who has already created these Eight of Pentacles, 8 Pentacles, right, that are floating around in that canvas. And then, an interesting fact is that she is, of course, she's sitting a so-called like a workbench, and also the floor is like a checkerboard. Yeah, it's like you play, it's like the chess, right? The right moves that you make. It's also an energy of thinking, strategizing, and when it comes to chess, it's not a fly-by-night thing. You have to practice it day in, day out to become a master at that game. And it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of perseverance, which is a little bit not like Aries. So either you have a lot of earthy placements that are keeping you rooted and grounded and patient while you put in the work day in, day out. This is an energy of showing up every single day, putting in the work every single day. It's not like a one-time thing that you come, you show the world, you gone good and you've gone. No, that's not what this is. This is something that you have been laboring towards, whether it's a skill, whether it's a side gig, whether it's at your work, whatever this is, has been going on for quite some time. I would like to say like it's maybe 6-7 years that you have been working towards this. And Saturn right now stationed in your sign is, making you work hard for it. It will definitely test your dedication, your devotion. How much time are you willing to spend into this project or craft, whatever is your thing going on right now, whatever you're working on. So there is no room for rushing. This is an energy of, mastering it, of paying attention, of, showing up even if you are not getting paid the right amount, which you feel like maybe, you've been working for so long, but you're not getting the payout. This energy is telling you to still be patient, to keep going, because whatever you are creating right now, Aries, this is something that I'm picking up. This is something that I'm also, feeling in my mind's eye, that whatever you're creating right now is something so marvelous that when you put it out into the world, or maybe you already have, or you will, whenever you do so, it's, it's like, it's going to pay off. Maybe it's a product, maybe it's some things you will get rewarded for, financial rewards for. So if this is your corporate work, you will get the payout, maybe as a pay raise or maybe as a promotion. If this is a side gig, it may turn into something like a mainstream business because you're seeing the growth. If this is like your own business, then it's probably, you're working towards it and things are going to, scale up. I'm hearing like 6 to 8 months. So you have to be a little bit more patient, because the next energy after Eight of Pentacles is the Nine of Pentacles, which is seeing the rewards of your hard work. So you're right there. So don't give up, because Eight of Pentacles is the time right before the Seven of Pentacles, right? Because people are analyzing, like, should I put in the work into it? Seven of Pentacles is like an analysis. The analysis of should I put in the work, because Seven of Pentacles is a time where the person is not really seeing the rewards. But since you have stepped into the Eight of Pentacles, which means you have decided to put in the work. And that's the, that's the test of Saturn out here. Test your patience, test your devotion to that craft before rewarding it. So I do feel that this is something that you've been working on now. This can be anything. It could be your health, something that you've been trying to tone your body, or join a gym, or be part of some sports team that you're building your skills. This can also be like you opening a restaurant. If you're a chef, you might be perfecting those recipes, and until it becomes second nature for you. This is the energy of not only building things brick by brick, but also mastering it to the point where it feels like, you can even sleep to it. So also I'm getting referrals. So, this could be a point, like when you've mastered something, people will definitely spread the word, and your product gets a word of mouth, good rating, and people come to you because you have a good rating, through word of mouth without much advertising. So it's that kind of energy. But I do feel that this really has tested your patience, Aries, because for an Aries to get to this, it really takes a lot. The next card you have, Aries, is number 46, and it says, facing your fears. Further, it says, look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. Yeah, so you don't need to, I would say that, it says here, stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. Yeah, exactly. So it's about facing your fears, right? It's like, I feel you already have faced your fears. You already know what the fear is, because if you look at the picture, the lionfish, these defenses are out, right? These spikes are a form of defense from this lionfish. But it's just floating away with these spikes, It's not really attacking anything or anyone. So, and that's enough, It's enough. Like, if you were to see this lionfish like this, I don't think anybody would go around her, near her, right? So for her, for this lionfish, there is no need to attack, because just the spikes is good enough defense. And then this fish is just swimming away, right? So the similar way, Aries, I feel that you already have named your fears. I don't think that you're trying to name them, because, well, the defense is already out. So you know exactly what to protect yourself from, what to, what is the problem, So I feel that. But I still feel like, because the lionfish is just swimming away, it's not attacking, it's not confronting. So I'm getting a very calm, like, energy from you, Aries. I don't know who this is for. So you probably have a lot of either earth placements or water placements. This is a water energy of a fish. So either you have a lot of water placements that's softening their defense, or you have a lot of earth placements with that Eight of Pentacles that is keeping you grounded. Because this is totally a Aries, I would say, reaction. So you're not really confronting. You are ready to face your fears, but in a more gentler way, I would say. It's like whatever you have been shying away from, avoiding, you are now there. You're taking those baby steps to face it, to confront it, to overcome it. Now, facing the fears could be any kind of fear, whether it's a fear of, I don't know, travel. Is it a fear of failing? You're the Eight of Pentacles. So I don't know if it's the fear of failing, because Eight of Pentacles is like, you're being tested. So I don't know if you are facing your fears in regards to a certain craft that you have been working on, but you're doing it anyways. You're still showing up. And that's what I feel this is now. It doesn't have to be work-related. It could be in your personal life. It could be in your health. It could be about learning a skill, because Eight of Pentacles also relates to upskilling. So it could be that you have a fear of public speaking, and now you're ready to take a course in order to face the people, face the audience. This can be in your corporate. You don't know a certain skill. You don't have a certain skill, and you're worried, what's going to happen? Am I going to be laid off and things like that? Because Eight of Pentacles, I did get a vibe of somebody like, fearing kind of layoff, and they're working on something on the side. They are perfecting it so that they have a backup kind of a, they have a backup, to fall back on in case they get laid off. Is the vibe that I did get from the Eight of Pentacles, and I feel that that could be a fear of yours that you're trying to overcome. Now, for some of you, this could be related to your finances. For some of you, this could be related to, anything, any area, whatever area you're feeling this kind of fear. I feel that you're already taking steps to overcome it. And the fact that this lionfish is not really, attacking, it's like you realize that you don't always have to be in attacking mode, right? You realize that just having these spikes out can also keep the danger away. Now, for some of you, if this is fear of about getting laid off from your job or, transitioning from one job to another, I would say the best line of defense will be to have your finances straight, like have a buffer, have a safety net or emergency fund and things like that, so that you're able to switch jobs, or you're able to switch domains, or you're able to upscale, leave the job, go to school, relearn a skill, invest in those tools. So for that, you need some kind of a financial foundation. So have that ready so that you're able to make that shift. And the last card you have, Aries, for today is the Crystal of Rays. This is a beautiful gemstone, a milky white, very much heart beast gemstone. Further, it says perspective. It says the difference between hope and despair is a different way of telling stories from the same facts. Yeah, it's just a perspective. So you can lay out the facts, in a negative way, or you can just state them, clearly, and then you can just state it clearly and, just knowing that things happen, things happen and we can learn and grow from that rather than feeling like, cutting a sorry picture or, things like that. So it's just in the way we think, it's just in the way we convey, what happened is, are we feeling, because sometimes when we state the hard facts, it feels like we're complaining, we're, sulking, we're venting. Instead, if you put a positive spin on it, and if you see the same hard facts in a way that, oh, you know what? I didn't know it would happen this way, but I understand things can happen like this. I got it. I learned my lesson. I'm going to be more mindful about this and things like that. So it's just a narrative. It's just the way we see it. It's just the way we see it, that can shift, our future story. That can shift our future, that can shift our tomorrow. So I feel that right now, perspective over things that are happening is going to be very important for you to not take it in the negative light. Take those, even if it feels like it's not according to what you had wished for. Take it as, kind of, and just take it as something you can learn from, and grow towards. So that, you're not repeating this or replaying this and things like that. So yeah, mind shift, it's just a mind shift that's needed. So Aries, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Leo. So the first card you have, Leo, for today is Judgment, but it's in the reverse for you. Now this is Major Arcana. In the reverse, it's just about, it's like going within and doing the work, rather than being loud and announcing things before you have done the work. No, that's not what this is. It's like an energy of, for example, you want to buy a car, right? And maybe, you bought another car before, but you missed out on your payment. So it kind of, messed around with your credit score. And now when you have to go buy another car, you're like, my credit score kind of skewed a little bit. So let me fix that before I go and buy another car on credit, so that I get a good credit. And, my credit history shows that I have fixed my credit scores and things like that. So it's like doing an internal audit or internal work or behind the scenes before you go before you go public on it or before you announce something. Like, for example, if you're starting a company, so you want everything to be, all the resources, all the tools, all the people, everything lined up completely before you make that final announcement. Or if you're already a running company, before you go public with your IPOs, you want to make sure everything is, in place, everything's checked. There's no room for error, like foolproofing it, It's like doing the work behind the scenes before you make anything public. So, for example, if you want to, if you want to sell an older house, so instead of listing it on the market with all of those old appliances and old floor, you want to upgrade it fully before you put it out into the market for listing it. So it's that kind of an energy, the work which is happening behind the scenes, so that you're able to list things, announce things, go public, make it public, even with your career moves. Before you shift the job, you want to make sure that all of the skills that is required by the new company, you have it with you. You're a master at it, or you're pro at it, or at least you have some experience, so that when you go for the interview or when you join the company, you're not really struggling with performing. Similarly, for example, if you want to join a sports team, so you want to make sure that you have played with your local teams, you have the confidence that you can play on, you can play leagues or you can play on the international platform, and you're well rehearsed, you're seasoned, well practiced before you go out there and, tackle those international games. It's that kind of an energy. So doing the work behind, practicing, rehearsing, fixing things on the down low without announcing those changes. And when you know that you have a great product or you've done the work, now things are ready to be announced, is still yet to go. That moment of announcement is still yet to come. So it's doing the internal work, whatever that is. It's going to be different for each one of you. Now, for example, if you want to get married, and you're not sure about your job, so you want to be sure that you have a job before you get married, or you have, the resources, the money, the funds, all of that ready before you go invest into, arranging your wedding or destination wedding and putting money down for reserving places and, things like that before you make those big grand announcements about your wedding. So it's doing the work that is needed, to step up, and then you make the announcement so that things are not crashing, things are not breaking, and things like that. The next card you have, Leo, for today is number 19. And it says polite declaration. So number 1, 9, and 2 are coming through strong with this energy. Further, it says you can move in whatever direction you need to accomplish your goals. It is time for you to get out there, claim what is yours, and stay in your power. So, yeah, there's a beautiful crab out here. Crabs are not this decorated all the times, but here this one is. I feel that, this crab, when it comes to crab energy, it's always about sideways movement, It's not about dashing straight. So a polite declaration actually reinforces that energy of the crab of moving sideways, right? Which means that you're not attacking, you're not dashing straight. You're taking a little bit of a, and also crab are very intentional in the way they move because they don't want confrontation. They don't want that street attack. That's not what crabs are about. So definitely this energy is not about fighting or about aggression. It's just about, this crab is just sitting out there calmly, taking space. So that's the energy, politeness, calmness, and still being recognized for what you bring to the table. So if this is you on the professional front, if you have done a lot of work, and, you feel that nobody's noticing or you're not getting the right returns for the amount of work that you do, I feel that this energy is encouraging you to negotiate your pay rise or your, whatever your titles. If you want to negotiate or anything, you want more responsibilities. You want to climb up the corporate ladder, whatever that is, you can still negotiate, but in a more gentler way. Instead of confronting your boss, your manager, like, oh, I did this and you have not paid attention and I did not get any claps for this and things like that. Instead, you can just present the facts that, oh, this is so much work. I've been working tirelessly all day, all night, burning the midnight lamp. And, I didn't get like what I had expected. I worked hard. I was expecting a raise or a promotion, but in a more gentler, polite way, by stating the facts in a more gentler way. So it's like you don't have to confront, you don't have to be very aggressive, but you can still, present the facts that, look at my work, I have done so much. I was thinking, how about a raise or how about a promotion and things like that, So a more gentler energy. You don't have to be loud, to get that promotion. Similarly, if you have been, out there, a media personality, or you've been, you've been e-star on television or in a movie, and you're like, oh, you know what? Nobody writes up about me, so I'm just going to call a press conference and I'm going to have people interview me and publish that interview in the media. No, it's not that. It's like, you've done the work. People are noticing your work, you don't have to be all loud or advertising yourself or blowing your horn on media or social media to get that attention. No, people are already noticing you for your great performance, for your skills, for your art, whatever that is, and people are seeing it. And you will see the rewards come through by the money that you're getting or by the love that you receive and things like that. So it's a more calmer, gentler approach of, presenting your work or asking for a raise and things like that. So it's a negotiation energy. It's, it's announcing something, but in a more gentler way. It's like, and I feel that if there is something that you need to claim, which you feel is yours, then you can go ahead and do it. Like, for example, if you have, like, maybe you've created a product or you invented something and you want to go put a trademark on it, or file for a patent or something like that, then go for it, because if you've already created it, so the patent is, and the product is officially created by you. So formalize that, get a patent, put your name on it so that, the world knows who has created the product. It's an example, so something like that. So whatever you're doing, you just put it out there and wait for the people to respond. You don't have to praise yourself. You don't have to brag about yourself. Just let people do the talking about what you have put out there. So yes, you're getting the visibility, but in a more gentler way. Let people, give you that, that praise, rather than you doing it by yourself. And the last card from Leo for today is Garnet, and it says justice. For other, it says mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. So Garnet is a stone, it's a fiery stone, yeah? It's red in color. And of course, it aligns with the fixed fire energy, which comes with the archetypal Leo, 5th house energy. There is, and Garnet is also used for protection, for protection, prediction of yourself, and protective energies. And also because it's red, it's a fiery, passionate energy, right? So sometimes, the Leo energy can, especially with the justice, I feel that it can come across as very loud and intimidating, So I feel that there is a need to temper that out with softness, with compassion. And while, lion is your life, right? Your representative, your symbolic energy. which speaks of strength. It speaks of, self-assurance and conviction in your abilities. Here it's saying mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. So rather than, strictness and loudness and fighting and fiery energies, that's not what is needed from you right now. What's needed is softness. Mercy is compassion. Mercy is a softness, when you go soft and you're still self-assured in yourself, that's what makes anybody more magnetic. When you choose to respond in a way that actually is healing to the situation, that solves the problem rather than creating more, rather than proving that you were right. That's not what's needed right now. So yes, while Leos stand in their power, they know, they're self-assured, they're convinced that their strategy or whatever is right. But right now, proving that you are right and being fired up all about it is not the way to go. So, Leo, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. Now, moving on to the sign of Sagittarius. So, the first card you have for today, Sagittarius, is number 0, and it's the Fool. It's major arcana. This is the beginning of a new cycle. And this deck is so beautifully reflecting the energies out here, and there is a checkered floor, and this person has already, she had to play her move right on this chessboard. What she did on her chance was take the leap of faith, move in a direction that she was not sure of. Her eyes are closed, it feels like she's reaching for the moon. There's a moon right out there. She's already out there. She's already touching the moon. She's very close to the moon. So this is like a calculated chance, right? And that's what happens when you play chess. It's not a game of being reckless. It's a game of calculated moves. So I feel that the Fool energy, of course, is taking the leap forward, because otherwise how else will the cycle begin? Like if the Fool doesn't do anything, nothing comes next. And that's what happens with the number 0, right? 0, if you see, it doesn't have any value of its own in terms of the number game. It's only when you apply it or when you add it to another number that it starts to make sense, So only when it's coupled with other numbers, it actually means something. So over here now, the Fool taking its leap, which means that not only this person has a strong faith that the universe got its back, but whatever comes next, you can only see that once you take that leap forward. If you don't decide to join a course, you will never come out of that college. You have to get into that college. You have to take that leap of faith, believing that you will be able to complete that course and come out of college and use that degree or use that certificate. So it's not just wishful thinking or a la la land. It's actually a calculated risk. You have done your due diligence. You have got the data. You have done your research. And now you're taking that calculated move, whether that is actually joining a course, whether it's moving companies. And you've actually, before you move a company, you've actually done the research on the new company that you're going to join. The people, what its products are, what the salary is, what the terms are, what the fine print is, the location, the travel, the commute, everything. You have already researched up about it, asked, you have the data. So this is like, you already have the data, and now you're willing to take a chance on it. If you did not take a chance, you'd never know what came out of it. This kind of a calculated risk is something that you actually just take it based on your faith. How strongly do you trust yourself? How strongly do you trust the universe? So it's that kind of an energy. Now, for some of you, because Sagittarius, your 9th house energy ruled by Jupiter, it's the house of looking forward. It's the archer, right? Always thinking forward, planning forward, traveling, something to do with faith or belief system, learning new things and things like that. So some of you could be just signing up for courses or traveling to unknown destinations. Could be spontaneous, could be random. But then random doesn't mean that you don't have data, you don't have you've not done your research. It's like, yeah, I want to travel to this destination. Let me do research. So you do 2 days of research work, and out of nowhere, you book a ticket and you're out there. So that's what this says. So it's taking that leap of faith forward, knowing that you at least have something to fall back on, or knowing that if you're able to make it to the end point, you will, this leap is going to pay off in the future. So, of course, nobody can be 100% prepared because we don't know how it's going to work out, how it's going to go, but at least there is some level of preparedness. Not the complete picture, but some picture, So, some of you are definitely moving forward in a direction that you have not been there before. It's not the been there, done that. It's the going there and we'll see what happens. But you have a fall back plan already. It's like you're willing to take that calculated risk to see, how is this move going to work out for me? The next card you have Sagittarius is number 4, and it says, life is better together. Further, it says, seek assistance from your community. Connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. Yeah, if you see the picture, this is such a cute picture, a lot of dolphins, which is a playful energy, spontaneous energy. They always are together. They go in pods. They go as groups, it's symbolic of being part of a tribe or community instead of going it all alone. So there is definitely an energy of partnerships coming together, whether with 1, 2, many people, whatever that is, and not doing it alone, whether it's you need help on something, maybe in the corporate and office, you need help with the project. Go ask for it. You'd rather have people help you out rather than do it alone. Similarly, at home in your personal life, if there is something that you feel is pressing on you, go ask for help. You'd be surprised how many people will be willing to help you. And whether that's help from your family, help from your friends, your neighbors, community, but the energy is about doing it together. It's more fun, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. So it doesn't really take away from your independent streak. Sometimes Sagittarius, mutable fire energy, especially 9th house, you're all about I can do it alone. I don't need help. It's not nothing wrong with asking for help. Or if it's not about asking for help, it's just about working in groups in community. Some of you may be part of groups, maybe working in groups, part of a team, learning in groups, maybe you're part of some kind of a class or some kind of an event where you're working as part of a group and a community. So if there is something that you need to ask for help, go for it. And that could be in any area, whether it's physical help or you need some counseling, some financial aid or something like that. Ask for it. You'll be surprised, how many people will step up to give it to you. For some of you, this could be that you don't want to invest into something alone. You want to be a part of a group that invests into the same thing, whether it's a hobby, whether it's a class, whether it's an event, whether it's some assets. Maybe you want to just invest in an asset that, as part of a family, maybe a group of you, maybe a group of friends are investing into something. Maybe you and your family are investing into something. So it's a group effort, group initiative, group investment instead of being alone. And it's not about that if you are part of a group, there is something wrong with it or you're not capable of achieving it alone. No, it's just about coming together, sharing your resources, being a part of a community that makes you feel supported, that makes you feel that you can, talk, you can get the resources, you can get the help when you need it. You build trust, you build that shared goal, and things like that. So don't do it alone. And the last card you have, Sagittarius, is Temperance. It's absolutely your energy. 9th house energy, Sagittarius, totally Temperance. Even in the major arcana maps onto the archetypal Sagittarius energy. And here you have the amethyst backing it up. Here it says below, everything in moderation, including moderation. That's a wonderful message because, Sagittarius, for you, you're all about next steps, forward movement, freedom loving, just like dolphins, very playful, mutable fire energy. here it's like, sometimes this Sagittarian energy can swing from two extremes, right? From 0 to 100, from nothing to everything. So this energy is asking you to not only temper it down, but also be moderate with how much you temper things down. That you lose your spontaneity. That's not what this says. Yes, moderation is a good thing, but don't lose out on spontaneity. Don't moderate spontaneity. Sometimes that spontaneous, which is the fool, it's a spontaneous reaction. It's like, yeah, I've done, but it's the time to take that leap forward, say yes to things. Don't temper down your spontaneous qualities. Yes, you need to be disciplined, but at the same time, don't underdo things that you have been doing. Moderation doesn't mean underdoing or overcorrecting. So it's just, I can't even explain. It's like, don't swing onto two extremes. That when you get to the moderation, don't overdo it. That it feels that you're not the original Sagittarius, that people can't even recognize you. Like, oh, Sagittarius was like this. Yeah, but moderation doesn't mean that you've completely swung to the other side. Those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.